Hello guys, if you want to learn how to create amazing Substance Designer materials like these, check out my course on Skillshare in the link below. And if you sign up using my link, you will be able to watch my course completely for free. And on top of that, you will be able to watch other courses for 30 days. A little heads up, this is not a complete video and the rest of it can be found in my course. Enjoy the video. Hello guys, so we have already made a realistic looking cliff material, or rock material, however you want to call it. So now we will get onto a stylized piece of cliff material. So as always, let's first start with the graph, and we're gonna call this one stylized cliff material, and just keep it 2K by 2K. Click OK, and let's just do the things we always need to do. So basically, let's just get our base material out. Once we get it, you right click, create, and output nodes. And we do not want to create nodes for hidden connectors. And let's set this up real quick. So first we want to blend, and let's just do a shape real quick. So we turn this into a grayscale input and do normal. And let's put here 15 for starters. And let's get to base color. So we want a uniform color, and I want something grayish, but not completely gray. Something like the default here. Roughness, we just want a uniform color, but turn that into grayscale value and turn it to white. Metallic, same thing, but turn it to black because we don't want this to be metally. Here we just plug it into here and get an ambient occlusion. We got ambient occlusion, we got everything sorted, and we are good to go. So, what do we start with? This time around, I like to start with tile sampler. And what we're gonna do is get a paraboloid as an input. So a paraboloid here. And let's put it 12 by 12. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna bring up the scale quite a bit. So let's say 10. And we're gonna do scale random quite a bit. After that, we're gonna get position random. So I'm referencing these parameters from another screen, but you can mess around with them because tile sampler, you really just need to mess around with it. It's nothing special. Like offset, you can put more or less anything. I'm just gonna put it something like 59. And after that, what I wanna do is go here, and we want to do some color randomness here. So let's do like 0.5 maybe. There it is. Okay, so we have done that one. And what we want to do now is copy it. And we want to have two of the same ones, more or less. Just here we're going to actually do 8 by 8. So we're going to have a bit bigger shapes. On both of them, we're going to do auto levels. So auto levels just to bring the values nicely. And then we're going to do levels. So levels just so we can control this a little bit. And we won't be touching this much. Maybe as we make the actual material, we kind of tweak this a little bit, but for now we don't want to do that. And here we need to create another tile sampler. So this is the one that's actually gonna have a shape. So we also want it to be a paraboloid, and we want to put 2 by 2. So we want 4 shapes, and you will see how why this is important really soon. So we need 4 shapes here, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna scale them just a tiny bit, so something like 1.2 is good. We're gonna get some size randomness, so 0.57. Oh, sorry, not randomness. We're just gonna kind of tweak the size a little bit. Oh, I actually didn't put in the paraboloid. So we want to have this kind of shape, the kind of extruded, not completely round. And for all the other ones, we just keep everything as it is. We want them to be pretty good here. So we now do levels here. And with levels, we want to bring out the white values a tiny bit. So not completely, but just tiny bit. And then we are heading into a blend. So go here, blend, and we're gonna choose subtract. And see how this creates a very interesting shape. So let me just plug it in real quick. So we need to refresh these real quick and right click here and view outputs in 3D view. Okay, here it is. So here we have some interesting shapes. Now this is a bit too much, so I'm just gonna do 0.5, 0.6, 0.6 a bit, seems a bit better. After that, we're gonna get a directional warp. So directional warp, and we're gonna warp it with this here. So what we do with the directional warp is we're gonna pick an angle, so just a relatively random one. You can choose whichever one you like. And we're gonna get the intensity down just a slight bit, and let's plug it back in. And yeah, that's some slight variation here. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna grab a warp, and here we're gonna blur this value a little bit. It's just gonna be a little bit, so I'm gonna go here and quality, and let's say 1.8, just a little blur here. And then we put it into the gradient input, and as you can see, this is a bit too hard, so let's see 1.6 maybe, or 1.7. Okay, both seem fine, so let's have a go with this. So yeah, you will now see a little bit of weirdness here, but it's all alright, don't worry. So this will all be fixed. After that, we head on to auto levels, and let's actually see now a little bit better. After that, what we do is we do a histogram scan, and we kind of get this completely white value of them, and we're going to be doing levels. And what we do with these levels is we again bring these values up just a little bit, not too much, and bring these black values down. And then we're going to blend this, and we're going to blend it with the multiplier. So we want to multiply these so we don't get these black areas here. So multiply, let's see, no gray areas in between them. So let's plug this in here. Oh, the shapes are getting pretty nice so far. So yeah, this is gonna be the main shape. So let's just comment it because it's really important to have everything tidied up. So this is, let's say, main shapes here. So let's move this a little bit further even. And let's start on the next thing. So the next thing is we're gonna grab a histogram scan. And with a histogram scan, we're just gonna get a position high again with these sort of stuff. And we're gonna do flood fill. So you already know what flood fill is. It gets a really interesting colors on your masks. And what we're gonna do now is we're gonna get a flood fill to gradient, as you can see. Flood fill to gradient, and we're gonna get a few of these. So the amount of these depends on you, but I found that 4 is pretty good. So you can have more, you can have less. More basically gets you a bit more detail, less gets you less detail. And here, get the random angle variations. Make sure to go over 0.5. That's how I like to do it, because it gets a lot better results. And just choose some random angles. There's nothing special to be done here. So what we do now is we actually grab levels node. And what we do with this levels node is we bring this black value a lot to here. So we only have these sort of edges here. And we do that for every single one. So let's do it real quick. Just make everything aligned properly. And one more. And here they are. Different stuff. So what we want to do now is just to do a quick auto levels. Auto levels get us a bit of a better result than just this normal levels. So let's just get that all in. And we've got everything now finally. So what we want to do now is we're gonna grab our main thing here. We're gonna use blend and pick every single one. So let's take this and do subtract. As you can see, we're kind of sculpting. This is similar to what we have done in the realistic rock or cliff material. Very similar, but it's not completely the same. So we repeat this process as many times as we need. So here, and we just do this, another blend, and we pick, oh wait, we pick this and subtract. So as you can see, what we did here is we slowly sculpted out the shape of these rocks. And as you can see, they're looking pretty nice. So we wanna comment this as well. So I'm just gonna comment this. Actually, let's lower this a little bit, and let's comment it shape sculpting. And now we're getting into a fun part. So soon we're gonna make a mask. So what we want to do now is get a transformation to D. So we need 4 of these, but let's start with just one for now. You are gonna want to double this and then 0.25 and 0.25. As you can see, we isolated this one rock shape. And we're gonna do that 4 times for all the 4 rock shapes. And here, let's say we put a minus here. There we go. And we put a minus here. There it is. And this one needs 2 minuses. So minus and minus. And now we have 4 different rock shapes, 4 different variations, which are gonna come really handy once we start making stuff. So what we want to do now, I will show you 2 ways to do this, but for starters, let's do only one. So I want to grab gradient linear. So gradient linear 1, and we're gonna grab 4 of them. And what we're gonna do is rotate them. So this one 90 degrees, this one 180, and this one 270. And what we're gonna do is do a blend node real quick with multiply. And we're gonna do this with every single one. So just grab these. And this makes for a really nice effect later on. It really gives a bit of a depth to everything. So basically we do that, and after that we wanna do auto levels. So this is a bit too dark, so we just do auto levels. Auto levels is just self-explanatory, nothing to be configured. There we go. And now, before we head into the next step, we actually need to create some details. So let's do that exactly. So we're gonna grab a tile sampler again down here, and we're gonna use a disk. So disk here, and let's set this 7 by 7, for example. And let's get to tweaking these values. Here I want to be 0.1, so a really low value. Scale random, high value, like 8.5. Position random, pretty high, so 2 or something more. Offset, just something random. What we want to do again, rotation random. And we want to have a bit of a color random. There it is. So we're gonna grab this and get a distance node, and we're actually gonna plug this into source input. And for this other part, we're gonna do histogram scan. Histogram scan here. And the histogram scan is just gonna be a complete scan here. So here, like this. And distance, as you can see, nothing special going on, but we will need to just plug it really high. And we get a lot of these interesting shapes, as you can see. We are gonna actually do only source here because I want more of these flat ones. And what we're gonna do next is edge detect. So edge detect is pretty self-explanatory node. It just detects edges. We're gonna do edge width a bit lower, something like 1.3. And what we're gonna do is a directional warp next. And now our favorite noise is Berlin. And what we do with Berlin, we need to scale it down a little bit. This is way too much for this. And plug it into directional warp. And we are gonna grab 30 and just choose some random angle, something like this. So next directional warp is also gonna be a Berlin noise, but this time it's gonna be full scale Berlin noise. So 36, maybe even a, yeah, let's go 36 now. And what we're gonna do is this has to be a bit of a lower value, and let's just choose an angle here. So after that, another directional warp is needed, and what we're gonna do here is a crystal 1 node. And what we do with a crystal 1, we're just gonna get it a bit more zoomed in, and we're gonna blur HQ. And we're not gonna blur it much, but it still needs that slight blur. There we go. Oh, wrong input. Here and here we also want a little bit of a lighter warp. So now this might not make sense now, but it will soon. So what we're gonna do now is invert grayscale, and you can see these very interesting sort of crack. They look like cracks in the rocks. Is what we're actually trying to do, and we're gonna do a bevel. So bevel, now it doesn't seem like much, but bevel, let's put it to minus 0.2. And as you can see, it creates these very, very natural looking shapes. We're gonna do an auto levels here, just to bring them out a little bit more. And now what you can do is take a transformation 2D, which we're gonna do. Let's actually do it, and just kind of mess around with it. Get some random values in there. So let's get this one and just rotate, maybe get it a bit bigger. The whole point is to randomize this a little bit, and a transformation 2D is a great node for that, because it isn't really costly to use transformation 2D, but if we were to copy this 4 times, that would cost us a lot of performance here. So let's comment this, and I'm gonna comment this rock cracks. Basically, what we want to do next is we want to grab our blend nodes. And let's do blend. And now, what we're blending with, these maps, of course. So let's have them tidy. I want this to be really nicely organized, because when we're dealing with this many of samples and this many lines, it can get really messy and it can look like spaghetti very quickly. So what I'm doing here is trying to avoid that completely, because when you need to look back at your material, it will really be um, you will be thanking yourself just because of this, because having a material that's in order is really good when you come back to it if you need something from it, because it will be way easier to navigate. And it's way easier to navigate if you need some changes as well. So that's why we're doing all these boring steps, but in the end they really make up a good material. So what we want to do is, you probably already guessed it, but we want to subtract. And as you can see, it subtracts quite nicely, but these need to be really subtle. So what I did for values is I randomized them. So let's do 0.05. Here maybe 0.03. Let's do a highest value of 0.07 maybe. And let's do a really low value of maybe 0.02. There it is. And we are done with this here. So we are gonna do detailing the shape. Just comment it real quick. And now it's the most fun part. So we are now gonna do tile sampler, and we're gonna combine these. So let's do pattern input, set the pattern input number to 4, and let's plug these guys in. So as of now, they don't look anything special. So let's do 5 by 5. We don't want many of them for starters. And let's have fun with these. So let's do 1.5, 1.5. Size random. I like to keep the Y size random a bit bigger. Scale 2.7 something. Scale random 0.5 or something. And now we do position random to 4. We can do offset, some relatively high offset. Rotation random. Rotation random. Yeah, you could do that. I'm gonna leave it to 0 for now, but you could do rotation random with no problem. But what I really need is a color random, and I put 2.3. So, what else you can mess around? This is where I will end the video. I hope you liked it, and if you want to see the full version, check out my course on Skillshare. If you sign up using my link, you can watch it completely for free. Have a wonderful day.